Welcome back for another episode of the podcast, Come Over for Dinner. I'm so glad you're here. Today I have a very special guest. And sorry, guys, the top two ladies are taken. She is one of them. She happens to be my daughter-in-law. And she is a college student, newly married. But you think, well, she's young. What all advice does she have to offer? She has a lot. I have learned so much from her, especially coordinating large events. She has been the Grace Agenda conference coordinator for the last 2 years, and they have had over 1,200 people attend this conference. She has cooked lunch at the last minute for a missions conference, which was about 80 or 90 people. She has made desserts for her college. There was a Reformation banquet where she made the cakes for the entire, I guess, everyone who attended. I don't know how many cakes that was, but it was at least 200 people at the college she attends, New St. Andrews. And she also makes gorgeous pies, and she has her own small little home business called Blue Bell Pies. Welcome, Belle.
Hello.
All right, so we will talk lots about all of the things I mentioned. First of all, I do, because I don't know if we'll get to it later, I do want to bring up that story about the last minute lunch for the missions conference. So when she and my son, before they were married, I called one of them, or maybe they called me, and it's really late at night, 9:30, 10 o'clock, and they're at Walmart. I'm like, why are y'all at Walmart? So, Belle, why were you at Walmart at 10 o'clock at night on the day before the missions conference?
It was the day before this conference. We had about 100 people at it, maybe less for the actual lunch that I was cooking for. And I don't remember if the caterer got sick or something happened and we lost the caterer the day before or 2 days before the conference. And I didn't really have any backup things, so I'd contacted 3 or 4 different people, and no one could do it so last minute. So we just went to Walmart, and I ended up making lunch for everyone, and it was a little wild.
So a test of true love. Lex, my son, was at the grocery store with her, and apparently they went back to her family's house and were prepping and cooking at who knows when. I mean, I don't know what time you finally fell asleep.
2 o'clock or 3 or something.
2 or 3 in the morning, then they finally parted ways and met back up to serve all these people the next day.
Yes,
so
a giant thing of curry and rice.
Curry chicken, right?
Yeah,
something like that.
Curry.
Sounded delicious. I wish that I had been a speaker at the missions conference or a part of the missions conference. Regardless, the other thing that I had the pleasure of tasting before she and my son got married, I went over to his house where he was rooming, and inside the refrigerator was this beautiful box, and inside was an entire peach pie. And I was like, wonder where this is from. Maybe it even said Bluebell Pies on the outside, because she does have cute tags. But my one very important question at the time was, Lex, are you sure you're going to eat this whole pie? Because I'm kind of feeling like you might not eat every bite. So, I had to taste test it. Definitely passed approval.
Hope it was good.
It was delicious.
So good. All
right. So you have a meal that you think about preparing when you have guests over. Tell us about it.
It's sort of a modified version of a Jamie Oliver recipe that my mom used to make. And I don't even remember what all I've changed. I think I started just throwing in random things I had in the fridge.
Which sometimes it leads to the best inventions.
Yes, and I've made it a lot of times since then because it ended up being really good. But it's basically a ton of veggies all cooked with bread, and you put bacon on top, so the bacon grease kind of cooks into everything. So I do cubed potatoes and have Brussels sprouts, some broccoli, cut cherry tomatoes in half, and then I tear up just French bread. I get this stuff at the store where you bake it for 10 minutes yourself, because that way it won't be overcooked when I bake it for 30 minutes.
So you do bake it and then put it in the croutons?
No. I just buy the stuff you bake yourself, but I just break it up and put it in the pan,
Yes.
and that way it won't be
Okay.
like too hard if I had bought normal French bread.
Okay.
And then, so they're kind of giant croutons. And then I just do olive oil, not a ton though, and then salt. And then I lay strips of bacon over the entire thing. And as you cook it, the bacon grease kind of seeps into the veggies and bread. So it's all like very juicy.
Sounds amazing.
And delicious. And then it normally takes about 30 minutes or maybe 20 for the bacon to kind of be cooked. And as soon as the bacon is nice and crisped on top, I pull it out, break up the bacon and mix it all up, and then add rosemary and black garlic. Just kind of toss it all in that, and then stick it back in for another like 15 minutes for everything to fully crisp up. And then normally at the end I throw in some shredded chicken when it comes out and mix it all up, and it's kind of a giant veggie bread meat all in one.
My word, this sounds amazing.
It is
I'm
good.
rushing to the grocery store as soon as I'm done here.
And it's a very good like summer. Oh, I also put carrots in it. I don't think I said that.
Oh, wow.
But it's a very easy like summer, takes like 30 minutes to make kind of a meal.
Okay, two things that I thought of. Jamie Oliver, is he a chef from England?
Yeah, he's a British cook.
And your family was in England for a while. They lived there for what, 5 years?
3
3 years.
3 years, yeah.
Okay. 3 years. So I can see getting some inspiration from some of the English
Yes.
chefs over there. They have some good ones. The other thing I thought of, you mentioned black garlic. Tell us about black garlic.
I had never actually even heard of it until when we moved into our first apartment and you bought us a ton of stuff from Trader Joe's. You went and bought all their spices for me to fill up the spice cabinet, and that was actually the first time I used it.
Okay.
And we do it on like pork chops. It's really good. In this, it's really good. It's great on chicken. We just put it on a ton of meats, and it's super good.
I do remember this now. Trader Joe's, which if you don't have a Trader Joe's in your town, I bet black garlic could probably be ordered maybe on Amazon
I would
or
bet
from
so,
a
'cause
specialty spot.
really seen it before, maybe just because I didn't grow up having it, so I'd never looked for it before. But that was the first time I'd used it.
Hot tip, if you do have a Trader Joe's, I might have mentioned this before already. I know I have mentioned that they have amazing spices for $1.99, maybe $2.99.
So much better than
they
the
are
other stores.
so cheap, but they are so good. But hot tip, if you do live near a Trader Joe's, if you have a young lady that you know getting married, it is one of the best shower gifts to go and, because you know, if you have when you go to make recipes after you're married and you look at the spices, let's say you're making a soup and it calls for 4 spices, you know, rosemary, thyme, oregano, and whatever, garlic. Well, if you have nothing, your recipe is going to be pretty expensive by the time you go and buy spice bottles for every single recipe. So I have 3 children married now. And for all 3 of them, I went to Trader Joe's and stocked up on everything they had for $1.99 each. I literally think it might have come to $30.
See,
maybe.
I thought, because I was used to cooking with like all my mom's spices when I was at home, so I had all of it. And then I kind of expected to use like 4 spices after moving out, because I was like, I don't want to spend $100 to buy spices. Yeah. So that was a very exciting gift to get.
And Trader
Was just
Joe's,
a
it
bag
doesn't
of
have
spices.
every single individual one. They do have a lot of individual spices, like rosemary or oregano. But they have some unique ones like the black garlic. And they also have blends. They have a lot of unique blends, but it's kind of fun. Like the 21 seasoning salute is a favorite that we use in the fall for soups. And I mean, everybody kind of has their favorite. They have like the everything but the bagel seasoning, and that has a cult following apparently, and you know, other ones. But so that's kind of fun and a hot tip for if you have somebody that you know getting married.
Yeah.
A fun present. Okay, so did you finish telling us everything about your recipe?
Let's see. I think so. Other than, you know what? I said I throw chicken in at the end. I normally at the beginning of the week try to just cook a full sheet with a pack of chicken breasts, and then you can throw it in salads or sheet pan recipes or whatever you want throughout the week. Pasta is always easy. And so I put that in at the end. And also I love adding green beans to it, but I always cook the green beans just on the stovetop in a ton of butter, just because I always think green beans are better cooked in butter than oil.
Yes.
So I cook them in butter and salt and then add those at the end just so I can cook them in butter.
Yes.
And then you have really good green beans too.
Yes. Delicious green beans. Everyone will be eating their vegetables for sure.
Yeah. And it's easy to cook for a crowd because I had my whole family over the other week. So there were 9 of us, I think. Oh, wow. And I could just use a full bag of green beans, a bag of broccoli, a bag of Brussels sprouts. So it was really easy to just throw it all on pans and stick it in the oven.
Mm-hmm. So when you go to cook your chicken, say you said you cooked a big package on Monday or at the beginning of the week, how do you cook your chicken in the oven to prep it?
I just do putting a piece of parchment or something down first makes it way easier to clean the pan afterwards. And then I just pat them dry, a little bit of olive oil or a thin slab of butter if you'd rather, and a little bit of salt and pepper. Cook it on 375 for, I don't know, it's about 35 or 40 minutes. And then when they're nice and cooked, I just pull them out and stick it in the fridge whole or shred some, put some in whole, some in shredded, however you need it.
Okay, that's also a very good tip because when the week gets busy and everything kind of ramps up, you have an almost instant dinner if your meat's already cooked.
Yes.
You know, if you can just come home and that's your main thing ready to go and you need to whip up a quick soup or a pasta dish or something like that, that really is half the battle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it cuts like
cooked.
45 minutes out of meal prep if you can have the chicken already cooked.
Yes, for sure.
And it's cheap, so.
And it's cheap. All right, what is your best prep tip? Let's talk especially about meal prepping. Like if you're prepping and your recipe has lots of ingredients, what is something that you do?
When I'm meal planning, first thing I do, I mentioned this right before we started recording, is looking at, since Lex and I are both college students, I have classes till 5:30 on Tuesday nights, and then I have a weekly meeting at 7 o'clock. So by the time I get home, get dinner ready, we have like an hour basically to get it all done before I have to leave. So I always do meal planning. I plan a super fast thing. So like last night I did a stir fry just because it takes no time to make. So I try and do really plan the amount of time it takes to cook based on when we're going to start. Like if I have a 5:30 class, I'll do a really short meal so we can eat earlier. If I get out at noon, I can make however elaborate I want.
Right.
And then
your 5-course meal.
Yes. And then also when meal planning, if there's a recipe I want to make that has a lot of ingredients in it, I try to just find other recipes for the week that use the same ingredients, and that way it doesn't feel like I'm wasting money buying ingredients I only eat for one thing.
Right. That's a good point, because a lot of times if you have a long and complicated recipe and you're having to buy 10 ingredients,
yeah,
and it's something you rarely make, like say maybe an Asian dish or something like that, then you might want to substitute ingredients or pick something simpler.
Something like in the fridge you need to that's gonna go bad, then I just try and think of anything I can make with that ingredient. Which is why I made a million banana bread muffins yesterday to try and get rid of stuff
those
so that it
freeze
wouldn't go
well.
bad.
You know,
they do.
If you do make a large amount of something, especially like bread, banana muffins, they can go in that freezer and pop one out every
that
so
and
often.
Just freeze leftover stuff, because coming from a big family, we didn't normally have to freeze leftovers because it got eaten so fast. And then the first time I was like, oh, I'll just stick it all in the fridge. And then it all went bad because I was like, we can't eat that much food that fast.
Right.
So I just stick leftovers all in Tupperwares for lunches. And then half it goes in the freezer, half goes in the fridge. And then there's some dinners for later or just lunches.
Which is so nice if you're planning something like, or if you're not planning, but if you're studying or if you have a final coming up and you have an instant dinner in the freezer.
Yeah.
It's genius.
Yeah.
All right. So tell me where you find cooking inspiration. If you're looking for something new, where would you go?
Yeah. I follow Half Baked Harvest. Is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of see all the food she cooks every day, which I don't generally work that into my meal plans, but a lot of times it'll give me an idea of, oh, she's making this that kind of looks similar to this thing I could make. Do it like that. And sometimes it is just Googling I have these ingredients. What should I make?
Google can be your best friend.
Yeah, and then most of the time if I do that, I sort of modify it just because most recipes that pop up right away aren't super flavorful.
That's true.
Add spices.
That is true. Add
seasonings.
Don't be afraid to add your own seasoning.
Since I have so many.
Yes, since you have a drawer
whole
full
drawer
now.
full.
So Half Baked Harvest, you said you follow her. I know she has an Instagram page. Does she have a Facebook page as well? Or is it mostly Instagram?
I think she does, but I don't think I see much on Facebook. On Instagram, she cooks like a meal a day and posts videos of step-by-steps.
Nice.
So it kind of, you can learn a lot of just how to cook things that I've never tried before.
And she also, I'm sure, has a website, halfbakedharvest.com.
Yeah, she does all her recipes and stuff. So I do use those.
Very good. And her name's Tegan Gerard. But if you just type in Half Baked Harvest, it should come up.
They are delicious.
Yes, she does have amazing looking food, and she's not one that fails to use spices. I feel like the things that I've tried
flavorful recipes
are flavorful and delicious. Not that you might not tweak it or do something that makes it more your own, but she really does do a good job.
Yeah.
Okay, so what is your shopping tip?
Okay. I use so when I'm meal planning, I just write down the ingredients for each recipe as I come up with it. So if I think, I'm going to make stir fry tonight, I just write down all the ingredients I need to buy. And then right now I just use the Notes app that comes with iPhones, and their check mark feature is very handy. So I sort it into categories of produce, dairy, meats, all that kind of stuff. And I put the categories in order that I walk through the store in. So I always do the produce first, and then the cheese, and then the meat, and then in sections like that, and then baking ingredients. And then I put my ingredients under each of those categories, and that way I can go through the store, only do one lap around the store, and check ingredients off as I get them to make sure I get everything with only one trip to the grocery store.
So, again, this is a genius tip. Hopefully, some of you more experienced cooks may know this, but one's newer to the game. I have, of course, done it both ways. But, if you are planning for the week and you plan 7 recipes, if you do have those categories, each new time you think of something, either it just pops in your head, we're out of milk. If you go to the dairy section and plug it in, or if you think, I also want to plan, whatever recipe. If you plug it into the correct section, like she said, you just can circle one time. I have been in a hurry and just written stuff down, just, slammed a list out, and it's chaos.
It hardly ever saves time.
It doesn't. And I should have taken a couple of minutes longer to organize it because I thought, I won't miss anything, And I'll be able to organize it as I go. And oh no, I always fail.
And I learned that one, like the going in the order of the grocery store, from my mom, because she would make sheets like that, and that way if she had to send my dad to the grocery store, then he would be able to find ingredients.
She knew she was going to get what she had on her list.
I can do that if like Lex goes to the store or something. I can say just follow the order of the ingredients, and you'll be able to find them. You won't be like searching all over the store for the pickles or whatever it is.
Right, because
you can just the right aisle, so you just look in that section.
Yes, very good.
So that does save time, and it works if you have to send someone else to the store.
It's the worst if somebody comes home and they don't have the one key ingredient. Or if you get all the way to the checkout and you realize, I need, milk. It's at the very, very back, and you're at a super center. So, yes, great tip. All right. Tell me about your best advice for showing warm hospitality to those coming into your home. What makes it warm and welcoming?
Yeah. My biggest pet peeve going to people's houses is when the lights are off when you get there. Even when there's tons of natural lighting, I always feel like if the lights are off, you're not welcome. Even if they don't really make any difference. It's just like a
they're
mental
not ready
thing
for you or something.
Yeah. So I always feel like any room guests are welcome in, the lights should already be on. And that way, if they like go looking for the bathroom, they won't be just opening all your doors. It'll just be like, oh yeah, the light's on, the door's open.
That is a good idea.
And then,
I don't remember to
that
turn
way, if
on
the
my
lights are
bathroom
off,
lights.
they know they shouldn't be in there. It's not like, oh well, all the lights are off.
Right.
Maybe I should keep looking.
Here's a bedroom. Here's a closet. Wow, this bedroom really needs some spring cleaning. Here's the laundry room.
So if it's like doors are open and lights are on wherever guests should go, and then doors are closed and lights are off when it's like your bedroom or the laundry room or something.
That is a good tip. I think for just every area that the guests are welcome in, but especially the bathroom. I do not remember that. I don't remember to go and turn on the bathroom light.
Yeah.
And I should, because if they're looking around, they're looking down the hallway. They don't know which door it is.
Especially like in our apartment. I mean, normally people can see it right when they walk in. But it's a small apartment, so there's a million doors kind of all right next to each other, and you don't want someone like going through your hall closet trying to find something and seeing all your mess.
Right.
So I always just open the door, turn the lights on.
Everything.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's my thing.
And you mentioned that you're in an apartment. Sometimes people feel like if they're in a small place, if they're not in there, in a nice house with a big backyard and all the things, well, we can't have people over.
Yeah.
But that is not the case. And Belle lives in an apartment, and so 1 bedroom, 1 bath, and doesn't have a dining room. But guess what? She's hosted, her entire family. 9 people max maybe so far? Have you had more than that? She hosts a Bible study. She probably had more than 9.
My Bible study has 13 girls in it, so we have like 14 girls here, including me, every Tuesday morning.
Which is so fun. So tell us a little bit about that.
Especially for more than just the normal, I've got like 2 cute chairs and a couch, and that's the normal seating, but I've got extra chairs that I keep in the kitchen or in a hall closet that I pull out for Bible study or family coming over or something. So having just extra seating on hand is very helpful for a small apartment. And I mean, I don't have folding chairs. Mine are just dining room chairs. But I know we used to at my parents' house have just folding chairs that were easy because you can stick them in a closet easily or something. Just stick them in the back out of the way. And that is very helpful. And then it does mean if we're eating dinner or something, we just eat in our laps in the living room, which I feel like makes things just feel comfortable and relaxed and not too stressful. And it's like kind of awkward to just sit there with your plate in your lap, but I just do like all the food either on the coffee table or we have a buffet. So we can do like food and dishes on the buffet, flowers on the table, and everyone can just sit around and eat. And it's just a relaxing setting. Like it's not difficult not having a table, which is nice.
No, it's really not. So I've eaten over here a couple of times, and it's actually really fun. So most of the time we use the coffee table to put our drinks on, and then it's pretty easy to hold your plate and eat and just visit, and it's cozy.
And it feels kind of welcoming when you're just in someone's living room. Yes. It doesn't feel super uptight.
Right. We're all around the table, the coffee table, so to speak, but it's a tight circle, and it's just really fun. And yes, we laugh and tell stories. And when I was here with her siblings one Sunday afternoon, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Because they were all telling about their school stories. School had started up for everybody. And, it was just very warm, very welcoming, relaxing, and I mean, we didn't need a dining room table. We didn't need a fancy dining room. We had as much fun here in her small living room as we would around, some grandiose, amazing, beautiful spot. Yeah. Which is great if you have, but if you don't, you can still have lots of people over. Mm-hmm. And for the Bible study, I mean, she has plenty of seating, but girls, young ladies, they don't mind sitting on the floor.
Yeah.
Especially when there's banana muffins involved.
They did eat a lot.
I can imagine. Very fun. Okay. What does this type of hospitality accomplish? Why is it important for you to still welcome people into your home, even though it's not something large or a big space? Why is it important to you?
Especially with just the kind of sitting in the living room, eating off your laps kind of thing, it's easy to just put guests at ease that way, where it just feels comfortable and relaxed and not like there's not a lot of pressure on the situation and it doesn't feel too formal. I remember a tip on Half-Baked Harvest. Tegan was saying that making kind of just basic comfort food is always good for getting to know people. And I think that's kind of the same with just eating on your lap in the living room. When you're getting to know someone or it's guests you've never had over before, it kind of just feels like relaxed. It feels really easy. And it's just a familiar way of doing things. Mm-hmm. Whereas sometimes being at a table does feel like, I don't know, a little unfamiliar for people. So it is just a easy way of doing it.
Especially if they're not used to table settings with multiple forks, multiple spoons. Yeah. Kind of a little bit fancier place. Not that you can't do that, but sometimes people maybe read your crowd. You know, if you have people coming over that you might, they're really not going to know what the 2 forks and the 2 spoons are and the dessert spoon at the top. Yeah. Maybe gathering around a picnic table or a coffee table, just something a little more casual with some comfort food might be a better way to start.
We went over to one of Lex's coworkers' houses for dinner once, and we didn't really know them. And they did, make your own pizzas, and we ate around a little bonfire outside. And so we just ate out of our laps outside. It was pizza, and it just was, easy to just talk, relax. It was all just, very familiar, which makes it easy when it's a situation you don't know.
That sounds really fun. And you can use regular dishes, or you could use disposable, depending on your situation. I mean, if you were short on time or didn't have a dishwasher or something like that, you could make it easier on yourself by doing disposable. Mm-hmm. When I've been, she's served on her beautiful dishes that she got for her wedding. That was fun, too. A lot of times you are going to serve, a one-plate meal, her menu was a one-plate meal. You're not serving courses, so that makes it a little bit easier. Yeah. Of course, I say one plate. We did have dessert, and I'm still dreaming about the dessert that she made. I did have her share the recipe with me because I do want to make it again. What was it called? Do you remember?
It was some sort of chocolate mousse cake with a brownie base.
It was amazing. It was amazing. And so I might have to post a link to this too if you're wanting a fun dessert. It was a brownie base and then chocolate mousse on the top, but she tweaked it a little bit where she had different, it was all chocolate mousse, but she had different layers of chocolate mousse. So was it 2 layers or 3?
I think it was 3. I had a white chocolate, a milk chocolate, and a dark chocolate layer.
Yes. So the bottom was the darkest, and then milk in the middle, and then the top was white chocolate.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was a nice ombre look.
It's really good. I don't have this at my house every day. Or we'd have to talk about some losing weight tips. So, so delicious. Dessert, gotta have dessert.
Yes.
That's my hot tip. If anybody wants to know, if you're having company over, you gotta have dessert, even if it's just some simple cookies or something.
Yes.
What is your must-have kitchen item, and where can I find it?
This is another thing I was given when we first moved in, and it's Dawn dish soap, but it's an easy squeeze container, which I don't all the way know how to describe it, but it sits upside down on your counter instead of you having to flip the soap upside down every time. It just stores upside down, and you don't have to take a lid off or anything. You just squeeze it and soap comes out, and there's no leaks, drips, anything. So you don't have soap gunk around the outside of your soap container all the time. You don't have to flip it over every time. It basically doesn't make a mess. And it's really nice.
I'm going to have to try this new invention.
So I know, when I got it, they were trying to explain, this is a cool soap. And I was like, I don't know. I don't think it is
cool. Who said soap is cool?
I really like it.
Well, my Dawn soap, my regular bottle, sits, and I do have to flip it up but because I use it all the time, the lid just stays flipped open.
Yes, that's what happened to ours, but do you guys get the soap scum buildup around
all
it?
Around the edge. Yes. It's just kind of filled with dried almost
this stuff
soap.
is it's more liquid than that. Those are kind of thick, so they harden. Okay. This is thin, so you just pick it up and squeeze it, and it just squeezes straight onto your sponge and goes back on your counter, and it doesn't drip or
Right.
leak.
So open your phone. If you have Apple iPhone, it's notes. If it's Android phones, not quite sure what it's called, make a list, and under household items, miscellaneous,
Yes.
add Dawn Easy Squeeze soap.
Yes. And it's just at Walmart.
Yes.
You can get a pack of 3 or just a single.
Okay. So you could buy this, I think, anywhere. I mean, Dawn is
I'm sure.
very
I had never seen
wildly
this before,
popular.
so it must be a new thing, but you can probably get it anywhere.
Tell me about, you said you got it as a gift. Tell me about this
Yes.
gift.
This
This is
was-
another hot tip for newlyweds or housewarming.
Yes, this was like getting the whole bag full of spices, except this was, my mom had mentioned someone did this for them when they first got married. I think it was a college friend. And I was like, ooh, this sounds really nice. It'd be nice if someone did that for me. And then my birthday was right after we got back from our honeymoon, and we were just kind of getting moved into our new apartment and everything. And so my parents got me a huge trash can, like a kitchen trash can size, and filled it with like paper towels and dish soap, saran wrap, tinfoil, Ziploc bags, kind of all the basic things you need that you're not thinking of, and it will actually cost you a lot to go to the store and get it all.
Yes.
So I had like trash bags and bathroom cleaner and all sorts of stuff, some sponges, scissors, tape.
That's true.
It was really random stuff, and it was super nice.
Yes.
Because I moved in and I was like, oh, I can actually clean right away.
Yes. This is just, I did see it before she unpacked it all, and I thought, what a genius present.
It was so
because,
nice.
Yeah, it's not the things you're going to put on your registry. Who
Yeah.
registers for, I don't know,
Dish
toilet bowl
soap.
cleaner
Yeah.
or dish soap. So,
But yeah, it was like just very helpful stuff. And a broom. We got a broom.
Oh. Must-have items.
Yes.
Must-have items.
Yes.
Very fun. Well, thank you so much for joining me, Belle, and for sharing
Yes.
all of your tips and this delicious menu. I will post it. You can always find the recipes it's the same name as the podcast. You just, on your search bar, type in comeoverfordinner.com. I think I said 4 twice. It's not come over 4. comeoverfordinner.com. So, yes, you can go to the website. You can find where I will post a link to her products that she's recommended and her recipe along with any changes. Sometimes I post extra links, like to the dessert, if she hasn't made changes, or I might post her version if she has posted changes. So, look there for all of these hot tips. Thank you for joining us. See you next time. Bye.